Now, I know for many of you guys who clicked on this video, you're trying to find a loan that will not check your personal credit or will not put a hard inquiry on your personal credit. So I did find a bank, okay, and this is one of many. It's Huntington Bank. Huntington Bank, they offer a loan. It's called the Standby Cash, okay, and you can access this loan through their mobile app, and also it has nothing to do with no calls, no paperwork, no trip to the bank. All right, so in terms of what's up with this here, your eligibility is based on your checking and deposit activity, not your credit score. Okay, so you don't have to worry about your credit score when trying to get access to this loan. All right, now here's the interesting thing about it. Let's dive more into this criteria. All right, the eligibility. How do I qualify for this? All right, first you have to enroll in the online banking. All right, you have to maintain open a checking account with a. Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. Now, let me digress on this right quick. So they want you to have $1,000 deposited each month for 90 days, basically. All right. Here's the interesting thing about it. Since they want you to do that, what you can ask them, will they allow you to fund the account with a credit card? Okay, because some banks will allow you to open up a checking, a savings, a money market, a CD with a credit card. So I would definitely ask them if they're willing to do that. Now, here's the reason that I would tell you that you may want to get this here bank. The number one reason is because it's a tier 2 bank. And so what does that mean? That means that they are a regional bank. You have 4 tiers of banking that I made in a separate video, and I'll put it in the comments below so you can actually see that video. But the interesting thing about this, your tier 1 is your nationwide banks like Bank of America, you have Wells Fargo, Bank of America, you have Chase, American Express. Those would be like your major banks nationwide. Now, Huntington Bank is a regional bank, okay? And the reason that I encourage people, if you can, join a regional bank, because it's a tier 2 bank like Huntington Bank, BMO, Citizens Bank. Those are your regional banks. And the reason you want to choose a regional bank is, especially when trying to go for funding, is because they will give you more money than a national bank starting out. Now, your credit unions are the top, okay? So that's a tier 3. So then your 4th is your different lenders and stuff like that. And like I said, with Capital One, because they have a business credit card with it, and especially for business funding. That's the reason that I'm talking about this. Because of the business funding, the tier 4, Capital One falls for a tier 1 or a tier 4, again, because they have a business credit card that you can get with a 580 credit score. Now, that being said, you can see more of that in the video in the description. That being said, again, this $1,000, I would see if they would allow you to open up the bank account with a credit card if you're trying to liquidate a credit card. That's one way to liquidate a credit card. Now, if you are broke, but you have access to a Home Depot card, what you can do is go to Home Depot, buy a product at Home Depot, and then add a Visa gift card to your purchase as well. So that way you don't get your card shut down. You can do that, okay? And then take that Visa gift card and you can open up your checking account that way, all right? Like I said, it's banks out here that will let you use a credit card to actually fund your checking, savings, money market account, or CD, and you'll have instant access to that money, okay? Now, that being said, the other criteria is keep an average daily balance of $200 or more in your checking account for at least 30 days, all right? So have none of your Huntington accounts overdrawn for more than 24 hours, not any of your active accounts recent bankruptcy. Now, here's what they mean by recent bankruptcy. The bankruptcy has to be over a year in order for them to count it against you. If it's less than a year, it's going to count against you, okay? So 12 months basically, all right? Now, of course, you have to be at least 18. Now, here's the interesting thing about it again, because this is a tier 2 bank, why you want to join them. These are the states that they operate in, right? So you have Ohio, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and so on. Now, if you don't stay in one of those states and you still are interested in joining this institution, what you can do, you can have a registered agent set you up an address, and then you can actually join this institution, right? Now, again, in terms of why, because it's a tier 2, you'll get access to more funding for your business. So that's the reason that I'm telling you this. Now, in terms of who do they pull, their main focus on Equifax FICO 8. Now, that being said, in reference to their personal loans, they give up to $50,000, but on the personal loans, they may use a mortgage score, okay? So they may use your Equifax, it'll still be Equifax, but they may use your mortgage 2 or 5 in order to qualify you for that personal loan, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, in terms of credit cards, you guys know me, I'm always trying to tell you guys is try to find banks that offer low interest rate credit cards. And so they offer a lower rate credit card. Unfortunately, it's not a 0% credit card that for balance transfers and purchases, but it does say that it's a lower rate. And unfortunately, they don't tell you actually what the rate is or whatever, but they say it's a lower rate. So overall, they're good. Like I said, especially if you are trying to get access to funding and you're trying to avoid getting a hard pull on your personal credit, they do offer a loan, a standby loan that you can actually apply for. That being said, I did want to include some other lenders that offer loans with no hard pull on the credit and stuff like that. And so this is Rise. Okay, so Rise, they offer loans from $500 up to $5,000. Now, the good thing about with Rise loans, once you take out the loan and start making payments, they will help report it to the credit bureau if you're trying to build your credit, okay? Will not affect your credit score. Excuse me. Now, the next one is Opportune. Now, with Opportune personal loans, again, some of these lenders may not be in all 50 states. Now, the minimal criteria with some of these lenders, they income criteria may start at, like with Opportune, starts at 500. With Rise, again, it may start at 500. But the thing about it, here's the key, that 2 key factors when trying to get a personal loan is especially with these here lenders, they may charge a higher interest rate, but their main thing is, can you afford to pay back the loan? So depending on your income, whatever your income is, you want to make sure that your rent or mortgage payment is 15 to 20% of that, okay? Now, they may not trip off of your DTI, but you want to make sure that your rent or mortgage payment is 15 to 20% of that. You don't want to go above that. So what that means is that when you're paying rent and you may have a spouse and other kids in the household that contribute financially to the bills in the household, you want to take that number and divide the rent by that. So that would be your portion. So say that you have your monthly income is $1,000, right? But you have 5 people in the household and the rent is $1,000. So you only pay $250, right? So you only pay $250. So you have $750 left to work with. So that's what I mean in terms of when you're applying for these type of loans and stuff, making sure that your rent or mortgage payment is about 15 to 20% of what the income is. That being said, with Opportune, again, you don't have to have a social. As you can see here, you can do a pre-qualify without it affecting your credit. Again, it may not be in every state, okay? So that's the reason they say you can check here to see what states that they operate in. Now, their loans go anywhere from $300 up to $10,000, okay? So that's the good part of this. Their loans go from $300 up to $10,000 with no hard pull on the credit file, all right? Now, the next one is OneMain. Now, again, with OneMain, you can actually apply for this. This won't affect your credit, okay? Now with OneMain, their loans go up to $20,000 again. And same scenario. It's always about your income and how much you pay in rent. If you can just remember those are your two biggest factors when it comes to these type of loans and stuff like that. So you don't have to worry about an impact on your credit score. The good thing about it, like going over that $20,000, sometimes with OneMain, they want you to have some type of collateral. So they may want to title loan or something like that. So just be aware of that. Now, unfortunately, like I said, it goes from $1,500 up to $20,000, and you can see their interest rates here, all right, and the time frame to pay them back, right? But just keep in mind, your income, 15 to 20% of that is going to be your rent, all right? So if you keep that in mind. Now, there's one other lender I wanted to talk about, and this is Avant, okay? So with Avant, their loans go from $2,000 up to $35,000. And again, it's another one of these lenders that it won't affect your credit when you're trying to do a pre-approval. So that's the good thing about it. You don't have to worry about it affecting your credit, and they all go up to 60 months. Now, the reason that I like Avant is because of their DTI. Their DTI is up to 70%. So you can have a 70% debt to income ratio in order to qualify with them. Now, in reference to Huntington Bank, being that it's a bank, just like credit unions, their DTI is usually between 50 to 55%. All right. Now, if you have any other questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, trying to remove negative items off of the personal credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.